Should be everything, right? Right. Oh, yeah, let's silence that bad boy. Why, hello there, Internet. Let me unmute myself on my laptop so I can see how I sound. I have the speech. I am the audible. I like it. Welcome, welcome. I am Chamberlain Jonas here of the Wayward Inquisition. We are a Dungeons & Dragons podcast here to enlighten you once again on another Thursday night. I know, Thursday night. It's a pretty prime time slot, I might add. I'm having to compete with It's Thursday night. Critical Role doing their intro stuff. I'm sorry you had to hear that. That was unfortunate. But we survived and we're going to continue because it's what we do. Get this in just the right spot. I'm always afraid I'm going to bonk it, which I inevitably will. So, tonight, as you might have seen by the title, we are characterally creating characters. Sorry, getting things still set up here. For those who don't know, and you probably wouldn't, and not sure why you would, but tonight, Thursday nights, is also my Uncle Bill night, where we go out to dinner, have a few laughs, chit-chat, and thankfully now we are re-watching Scrubs because the new season and reboot is out, and we love it. Which is the reason for the later start time. Also, with my job, my newest job, the hours I get off a bit later than I would like. But, you know, you got to do what you got to do for money. Let's see, chat is operational. Let's just put a little hello in there. So, for tonight, what I am going to do, I have a character creator page that I, put all of my characters onto. Actually, this is the second one because I don't want them to get too long, you know what I'm saying? Because then it takes forever to find whoever you're looking for. That's more like it. But for you all watching, which let me make sure that there's actually a person in particular that am kind of doing this for. We'll see if he tunes in. And I will definitely repeat myself as needed. But for tonight, the things I highly recommend you gather is one, I really like the, I think it's called the Adventurers, Adventurers League character sheet. You can just Google it, find it, download it, print it. I really like the setup of it. It has everything that you'll pretty much need in a nice organized fashion. And then on the back, it puts all of more character-based things on the back. And then we're not going to get into the second sheet that you might need if you are going to play a spellcaster, which would be your spell list page. Hey, there he is, my guy. Is this roll 20? No, I'm afraid not. In fact, it's better. So you're gonna get your money's worth out of this one. But yes, I was just explaining. One thing you will want to find is Google Adventurer League character sheet, and you probably can't see this because of the distance, but it just has a. I just really like the setup of it. It puts everything you kind of need in a nice orderly fashion, and has a nice kind of character page on the back. Computer is restarting. So on your phone, wow, those dang computers always gotten to restart. So besides the character sheet, which you can, it's more of kind of a guideline for this, but you will also, I highly recommend you also bring up on the internet 5e tools. If you, there's a 2014 version that you'll want to try to find. If not, don't worry about it. If you just go with the regular version, it'll have all the new, like, 2024 stuff in there, and boy, is it lame. Oh, it's so lame. They changed so many things for all the wrong reasons, and it's just bad. It's just bad. New doesn't always equal good. But yes, bring up 5e tools, have character sheet, or you can just use a Google Doc to just put info in if you need to. Ain't that the truth? Let's see. 5e tools, Google Doc. Oh, and then we'll need one more very high-end, high-class society website. It's called, to find it, do like D&D Chicken Dinner. It's a point-buy website that's quite handy to delve into that. So, as you may or may not know, with Dungeons and Dragons and I'd say most TTRPGs, which is tabletop role-playing games, you will have stats like strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And there's many different ways to find out how to get those. You can do a rolling system where some people do like you roll 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you would roll 7 d20s and you would drop the lowest number, and then whatever numbers you got, you would assign them to the stats. Now, Patrick and I are horrendous rollers. We are so awful, God cannot save us. Because we've probably rolled a 1 and we critically failed. So I like to not roll for my stats because inevitably they will come out poop. Extreme garbage level poop. And I like to have decent stats, not because I want to be a effective player, but because for the DM's sake, I want to be able to succeed potentially on the things that I need to so that they can uh, move on with the story without having to baby us and put it on very easy mode. Yes, the dice giveth and the dice taketh away, as the good book says. And so I like to use a point buy system to get my stats, in which the base is you have 27 points to distribute amongst those 6 stats, or attributes as they are commonly called. And yeah, you can get good, moderate numbers, like depending on the character you're building or making. Maybe one stat is like way above the others, but then in that turn, something else is going to, diminish. Oh, nice. Good job, laptop. You did it. Ooh. And so that's kind of a brief overview of the attributes applyiness. Now, there's many different ways to start how to make a character. Courtney and I do this very differently, and both work very well. Courtney will picture what her person looks like first, which is baffling to me. I don't know how she does it, but boy, is it awesome. So she will picture whoever, like, oh, yeah, what if I had a guy that looked like this, this, and this? And then from that, she will then be like, okay, well, what's his backstory? What's going on here? Then she will take from that, well, if this is his story, then he's most likely a bard or a fighter. I start with the class first. So if you are on 5e Tools, there is this is just a wonderful website. If it wasn't for this, I wouldn't play 5e at all. It would literally be all homebrewed. And yes, this is a good place to start, my man. So you want to do a turtle druid who's a nomad that has lost his way. All right, so let's go to the druid page. Great thing about druids, we got a good selection of subclasses. You could be a madman like me and just stick with druid, so you wouldn't get any special bonuses as you leveled up, based from the subclasses. Oh, there's even some new subclasses in here. A dragon's druid? What in tarnation are you? This is the other issue of why I am trying to get away from 5e and use a homebrew system that I've been working on, is because they change and edit things so often. And 5e Tools is its own thing, so they do change and edit things quite frequently. Okay, so you can read Draconic. You can wild shape into a dragon form. Pretty cool, not gonna lie. Yep, you bite, breath weapon, an improved version, draconic magic, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. I get the gist. So, 8125, I have to ask, You are thinking druid, but which druid would you like to be? The wildfire druid will be more of a kind of a blaster caster. So, one, you will be able to conjure a flaming entity that you can have it appear pretty much however you want. Since you are a turtle, you could go the really nerdy route and have your wild fire entity look like a, medium-sized, we'll say rat person, maybe a former mentor you used to have who taught you the ways of, kung fu or something. Stars will, it's kind of a mashup of things. You can get a little blasterness from it, you can get some healings from it. So it's kind of a really versatile subclass. Spores is, it's a very kind of fungal based subclass. So you do, I think it's kind of necrotic damage based. You can, affect the enemies with the spores in different ways. Shepherd is if you're a druid that wants to basically shepherd a bunch of conjured things around you. So it's like you summon them to do all the work. My favorite, and I always get it confused. No, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Moon. Yes, so the thing with Druid is they wild shape, which you can change yourself into the forms of different kind of animals, beasts, and what have you. And the Moon Druid takes that concept and amps it up, which I really like, because when I think Druid, that's kind of that's the thing, you transform into something else, and that's what lets you be awesome. So 8125, you can pick whichever, subclass you would like. Dreams is kind of it's more of the fae and, like illusion, charming, those kind of spells. Land is kind of it's it's the elementalist, using water, fire, electricity, that kind of stuff. And shadows. Yeah, I don't remember this one either. What book did you come from? This is the cool thing too about 5e tools is you can hover over little sections of it, and it'll tell you that this is the Book of Ebon Tides. Huh, haven't heard of that one. So many choices. Indeed, good sir, indeed. And Druid is on the smaller scale. If you go to check out Wizard on 5e tools, you got a bunch more. I think Cleric has the most. That's quite a lot there, Cleric. But we're just going to focus on Druid. Yeah. As a recommendation that Courtney and I both share is if it is your first time D&Ding, don't pick a magical spellcaster class because you're already going to get bombarded with a lot of the class features that you will get normally, but then you have the I'll bet is a easy system to understand once when you learn it. But spellcasting is quite complicated in 5e and I would say D&D in general. So just as do what you want to do. That's the main thing, is make a character that you want to be. You want to sling spells, you do it. You want to swing a sword and maybe do some support casting, do it. Oh, a turtle barbarian. Now, that would be pretty awesome. That would be your Raphael. But for now, we're gonna focus on Druid because that was the first thing that you looked at, and so for this, I'm going to pick. You know what? I'm gonna go with stars. Yeah, so draw on the power of starlight. You know, constellations. That was what I was going to do today. Nice. Well, that worked out. So now that I know what my person is going to do on your character sheet, if you have it, you know, up in the class area, up in the top, especially if you're using the Adventurer League version, you know, you would put Druid, Stars, level 5. Lost my way even though I use the stars for my powers. Oh yeah, that could actually, because maybe, my good sir, maybe the stars led you astray on purpose. Ah, yes. A fillable one. Yeah, I don't know about fillable ones online because I'm a paper guy. Courtney and Patrick are D&D Beyond people. I like to have my physical paper because I am an old man. Way more than you know. And then after I get my class, so going with stars, good thing to know is different classes will require different builds with your attributes. So now that I have my class, I'm going to jump over to that chicken dinner to assign my attribute points. And with Druid, what you are going to want is Wisdom to be a really good stat because Wisdom is your spellcaster modifier. So the better your Wisdom, the better your spells will be. Kind of in general, Dexterity is a pretty solid stat to increase. Hey, Moosey deity. They retracted their message. It's been redacted. The Emperor protects. Let's see. What was I saying? Got distracted. Oh, right. So, dexterity is typically a pretty solid stat to put points into, as that will increase your AC, typically. AC is short for armor class. That is the number that monsters will have to roll to meet or beat in order to hurt you. So, you know, the higher your armor class, the better. And dexterity is the main way to increase that. Nice. So yeah, on chicken dinner, you can select race. We're going to scroll down. See, there's turtle. Yeah, I'm just going to knowingly and unknowingly mimic you because I didn't know you were going to go with stars, but I did know you were going to be a turtle. So yeah, I'll make my own turtle. And, I'm going to put wisdom up to 14 because if you start to go above 14, the point cost to increase it also goes up. And so that's where it kind of comes into the pros and cons. If you really want to be a good spellcaster, you bump that bad boy. I think the highest it can go up to is 15. And then from your racial bonuses, you can then get it to 16 or something. But yeah, at 14, well, actually, since the turtle gets that nice +1 to wisdom, I'm going to bring mine down to 13. So then the final score is 14, which puts me at a nice +2. Let's see. How do I want this druid to be? Actually, yeah, I'm just going to do my own interpretation of what you have said about this turtle guy already. So I've gotten lost. I'm a constellation druid. I'm gonna say, so Constitution is also a pretty solid stat. I mean, they all have their uses for sure, don't get me wrong. But Constitution will affect how many hit points you have, how much health, HP. Ah, so that's what you're going with. Aha. Anger the god in his travels. That's brilliant. Hmm. So I'm picturing that he's going to be a little hardy. So I'm going to increase my constitution. Oh, of course. It's always speculation. You got to leave that mystery. And the nice thing about turtles is you can kind of ignore the dex stat, even though it's still good to increase, because if you have to make a dex save, actually, I should probably go into that since applying your attributes now will affect these things. I'm just so used to making characters I already know. So, on the character sheet, hello, Necro. Welcome aboard. We're making characters tonight, good fellow. So, on the character sheet, you will see a box that has oh, Angry Meatball was already taken? Oh, boy, that stinks. What a bummer. But Meatball, you're here. Yeah, so on the character sheet, there will be a skill box where you'll see like acrobatics, arcana, deception, investigation, blah, blah, blah. And all of those skills are affected by your attributes. So, obviously, athletics uses strength. So, if you put more points into your strength, then your athletic skill will be better. There's also proficiencies that you will get from sometimes from races. You typically will get some from your background as well as the class. And when you put the proficiency on whatever skill, not only does your skill increase then by your attribute modifier, but there's this little box up here called proficiency bonus. When you are level 5, that would be a +3, I believe. So then you will take that +3 to your natural stats, and then you get your number, if that makes sense. Let's see, 5th level, yeah, +3. I know things. So when assigning your stats, kind of think about what do you want to be good at. Intelligence is a very skill-heavy attribute. Yeah, a good amount of them, I would say, use intelligence, which they are a little weird because a druid is, a very natural nature person. However, the nature skill is under intelligence. So even though wisdom is the druid's main stat, if you want to know what you're living in, you gotta be smart. Let's see. Strength 11, 14, 14, 10, 13, 12. I dig it. Let's see, Discord. Oh, nice. He has a fillable form. Way to go, Meatball. Skills. Oh, and then also above the skills box, you will find saving throws, which that is what I was talking about earlier. So even though turtles have a kind of a natural AC of 17, which is pretty baller to start off at, you would still want some dexterity, because then if you get attacked with something that requires that dexterity saving throw, you'll be, more apt to survive it. Hmm. I'm seeing my turtle as kind of a meathead. So yeah, intelligence I'm gonna leave low. I typically will make everything at least 10, because I just dislike having the negative to whatever stat. So I got wisdom, constitution, and then let's increase that bad boy. And let's see, I got 2 points left to distribute. You know what? We'll go ahead, put that in dex. So my final score is coming out to 16 for strength, and then going down the line, 12, 14, 10, 14, 10. Yeah, I'm not filling out this character sheet because 1, it already is, and 2, I didn't have time to bring any blanky ones. But this is Brock's character sheet. Ah, my boy. He became a man in every sense of the word. Okay, so now that I know my class, subclass, and attributes, already have kind of a background thing going for him. Sort of picturing a kind of a brutish, like, not brood, like he's Batman or something, but brute-ish turtle for my druid. let's see. So then, yeah, this would typically be the part where after I had my class, I would then, I typically pick the race afterwards because it's like I always like to start with, okay, what do I want to do? Do I want to be a swords guy? Do I want to be a druid, like spellcaster? Do I want to be a warlock? Then I will go to the race. And let's go down the turtle because we might get some interesting tidbits that we will need to know. So on mine, there's two different types of turtles. There's one from the Turtle package. Interesting. And then the other one, which I am more familiar with, Mordenkainen presents Monsters of the Multiverse. So I'm going to go with that one. Now, with that one, it lets you choose where you want your racial bonuses to be, so you can, play around with that, which honestly, I really think they should just have every race be like that. I understand why they didn't originally, because, it's like, okay, I'm going to play a Loxodon, which is an elephant person. Naturally, based on the race, they should be, probably strong and sturdy. So, strength and constitution. But with character creation, you can get wild and crazy. Okay, so turtles can move 30 feet. That's good to know. So on your page, there's speed. So you will put 30 into that speed box. Each square in D&D typically is 5 feet. So, you can move. What's the word I'm looking for? I lost it. Oh, well. But yes, you can move within your means of that 30 feet across the board. Things can get a little weird because some people use this rule that if you go diagonally, it will double every other time. That's turtles get claws. So if I lose my weapon, I can strike them for 1d6 plus my strength. Pretty nice. They can hold their breath for up to an hour. That's good to know. So with that one, either under features and traits or other proficiencies, I would put that under one of those as a quick reference to know that, if I am in an aquatic setting, I can not have to worry about breathing for up to an hour. And yes, here's the one that I knew of about the AC being 17. It's all legit from my other game, I swear. Oh, yeah. Gesundheit. Oh, yes. Turtles also have shell defense, which is pretty funny. Where they into their shell and you gain a +4 to your AC, which is pretty sweet. You do fail automatically like dex saves because, you're inside of your shell. It's not like you can propulse yourself while inside it. But lastly, the other thing that we need to know from this page, you can speak, read, and write Common, which is very common amongst the races, and one other language of your choosing. 5e tools. I do recommend opening up multiple tabs of the website because then on one, you can keep whatever you're currently looking at, and then on the other, you can be like, hey, bring up the languages. So we're going to do common, And, I'm gonna go draconic because I'm picturing that my brute of a turtle, his druid zone is a very volcanic, lava-y hot area. And there's, there'd be dragonborns there because they would be able to withstand the heat. Ooh, Sylvan. Nice. So I get that. Nextly, we will then go to, under the player tab, backgrounds. So you are thinking that you want to be lost. Well, there is one. Let's see, where did it go? Is this scrolled down all the way? Is something getting cut off? Oh, it is. Interesting. Is it because I have my browser minimized so I can't... So we have a couple options with being lost. There's Wild Spacer, which is you got lost in the astral plane. That could work. I mean, the astral plane is kind of a starscaped area, and being a stars druid, that could work, depending on what you're going for. Often what I will do is I will find a background that has the skills or proficiencies that I'm looking for. And then I will flavor it, which flavor is my favorite thing. Flavoring is taking something like, I'm going to cast Fireball, but then I'm going to add flavor to it. My version is, in order to cast it, I drink a big swig of alcohol and then effectively projectile vomit it up, and or in the case of backgrounds, let's say, where's that one I'm thinking of? It's like, is it Outlander? Yeah, Outlander. So Outlander is that's kind of like a wanderer where you are just, you wander the wilderness. Being lost could be the thing. But let's say I liked Outlander for its features, like what I get from it, but the feel of it didn't match what I wanted, then I would flavor it to be like, there's another background called Knight of the Order. So I would be like, oh yes, even though I have the Outlander background, I will kind of reflavor it as I am a knight of this order that wanders around, and in my venturing I gained proficiency in athletics and survival. I probably should go over each skill so that you know what they do. But that's a lot. That's a lot to cover. And it might make you want to rearrange your attributes and whatnot. But, I mean, from the names of the skills, you can pretty much gander what they do. Yeah, with what you're going for, Outlander would be a good one. There's another one. Let's see. is it called? Oh yeah, Far Traveler. So Far Traveler is its feature is it's called All Eyes on You, and basically you are so foreign to everyone else that you know they see you as basically a supernatural being. Uh, And so, depending on how you wanted to be lost, that would kind of fit, but Outlander definitely fits more. There is also another background called Fey Lost, in which you literally got lost in the Fey Wilds. Oh, you like that one, huh? Yeah, that you're far from home. Mm-hmm. It's a good one. And you do know Sylvan. So with the Sylvan, you could go the Fey Lost way, but also Far Traveler would fit in with that too. Let's see. What do I want my guy to be? He's big. He's dumb. Dumb. This is one thing I like to point out, because I mean everybody plays differently. I know some people that, based on what their attribute is, like in intelligence or what have you, they will role play their character based off of that. I don't. I really just see the attributes as mechanics, mechanical modifiers. Hmm, so many options. Thought that does not realize how different he is. He has seen so much that everyone looks the same. Nice. Yeah. I dig it. Hmm. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to go with archaeologist. So even though he's big and dumb, he lives in this volcanic area so that he can try and find lost artifacts and stuff before it's too late. And he uses the stars to hopefully guide him to where these trinkets might be. So, with that, with archaeologist, I get history and survival. I'm doing this one more off of kind of a whim more than like what am I going to get from the background. Because, I mean, I do need to make more characters because you can truly never have enough. But also, I have a character for, well, at the time, every subclass, which comes to, I think, over 100 different characters. But don't mind me, I'm going to my druid section of my document. So I am a stars druid, archaeologist. Uh, yeah, male turtle. Ooh, how many have I played? Maybe 5. Because that's one of the things I love about one shots is it gives you a chance to try out your characters. Because in a campaign, you're typically limited to 2, and that will take you through the whole thing, unless you're just very unlucky and have to go through more characters. But on the benefit is you would get to go through more of your characters. Let's see. Male turtle. Yeah, archaeologist. Oh, yeah. Common and draconic. If you do happen to, I always like to just give a little heads up. If you happen to hear any music coming through my mic, that is me. I like to rock out whenever I'm working. I'm playing my Jethro playlist. I like my equipment preload out. Oh, good, good, good. I will say I like to don't limit yourself to what it says you can start with, which can get a little iffy, but check with your DM, of course, if you think something's too outlandish. Cause like so many classes, like the limit on things, it's like, yeah, I want to use this weapon though. Equipment, set of traveler's clothes. Oh, map. Oh yeah, the musical instrument. Yeah. Yeah, that's another thing that is with your character and with the background. It might say you're limited to a musical instrument or a gaming set, but the musical instrument list that D&D has is pretty small, all things considered. So feel free to broaden your horizons, but just know I always like to think of, okay, my person's going to carry this around. So typically, if you're like, yeah, I want my person to be a piano player, and yeah, you're not going to lug a piano around with you, but then you have the fun, you can have the fun reveal then. It's like, yeah, this whole time you've been a skilled piano player, but how often do you come across one in your travels? And then you finally do. Ooh, the theremin. Nice. Let's see. And sometimes I ignore some of the stuff I get because this is just my hot take on 5e, is that it just gives you too much in class features. And I get they want you to feel powerful, but trust me, the DM will bring that out through the story and whatnot. But from archaeologists, I get to choose another language. Off the top of my head, let's go. Yeah, primordial. He is a druid. I'm sure there's probably some fire elementals he's come across in that lava plane. And what's his feature? Let's see. Historical knowledge. When you enter a ruin or dungeon, you can correctly ascertain its original purpose and determine its builders. That's lame. don't get me wrong, that makes sense for an archaeologist, but the fact that I can just walk into a place and just know, yeah. I don't like things that let you auto win. That's why I hate dark vision. I dislike water breathing races. I am very much a simple man. What else do I get? Wooden case containing a map. Yeah, I'm fine with that one. Lantern, miner's pick. Cool. Traveler's clothes. Yeah, cool. Okay, now that we have our background, um, one of the big things. Oh, what are we picking? Oh, no, I was just looking over what I get from archaeologist. Um, but one thing to always think of is when you're making a character is what their, of course, what their backstory is. You know, do they have family? Where did they come from? What were they essentially before they became this adventurer? But then another thing that a lot of people seem to miss, and it's kind of a biggie, is why are you adventuring? Like a lot of the time, um, people get on the right track. They just don't. They don't go far enough. So it could, it could be like, oh, well, I'm adventuring because I want to get revenge on this guy because he killed my family. That's good. That's great. Um, but why would you need to be in a party to do that? You see, why wouldn't you be off doing that already? So then you start to think about it. Oh, well, he's a pretty big crime lord, so he has a lot of men around him, and I need people to assist me in taking him out. Okay, but that's good. How are you going to get your team to go along with that? Because not everybody is going to, adhere to your plight. At least not at first. Because some people, um, their character don't do the lone wolf edgelord person. Okay, it just doesn't work. It's like Marisha Ray when she did Bo in Mighty Nine. She is a great example of how well it can work, but a lot of the time when people try to do the loner mysterious thing, it just makes you lame and boring because then nobody wants to interact with you because you don't do anything. So just be warned. If you're going that route, it just might not work out the way that you want it to. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out who has messed with the stars so I can find my way back home. Ah. Yeah, and then, okay, like Meatball says, you kill the guy, and then what happens next? Do you retire? Do you say, well, hey, well, you all helped me out with this. I'll, stick around, help you all out with this. Have, it's good to have a major goal and like minor goals. Courtney actually made this whole questionnaire that she would send us before the big campaigns. And, we would answer the questions and fill out so that she could get a better feel and know how of our characters. But two, it helps us know our characters. see, but I don't know where to start. So I venture the land, inquiring with who can help, and then get involved with friends. That's a good start. I would say since you are lost, the reason why you get into adventuring is, well, these people, and that's the thing too, is uh, a lot of people when they make their characters, they're like, oh yeah, they are an adventurer, so they've been around. But that's not really how a lot of these parties start, you know. Um, but since you are lost and you are in this new land, you hear of people, you know, something going on that's like, okay, well, I can, in the meantime, while trying to find my way home, I will help these people out. Then, in doing so, you're like, well, hey, you guys are pretty handy and capable. I don't know where I am. Do you all know of anybody that could help me find my way back home? The stars are all messed up. And then, you know, of course, the DM can throw in things like, oh, yes, player number 2, you're a cleric. So you remember the tale of uh, a star sigil that was lost in the ruins of Dagobah. And, you know, you have to, if you find that, that will help clear the star path for you to find your way back home. Something that may not ever be finished in, and yeah, that's a thing too, is yeah, how badly do you want to get home? Uh, you can talk it over with your DM of like, hey, you know, my guy's thing is he wants to get home, but, you know, I'll leave it up to you if he actually does or doesn't. Or if you're really gung ho about it. I just noticed that my laptop isn't charging even though it's plugged in. This happened the other day, too. Do we have another dead outlet? Or when the breakers blew that recent time, did it fry that extension cord? Oh, hey, it's charging now. I must have... Maybe something was just loose enough. Stay alive, please. I need you. Sorry, got distracted. If you're familiar with our channel, you know being derailed happens quite a lot. So yes, think about your character's goals. Treat them like they are a real person. A good amount of people miss this. It is very much something that you have to learn. I mean, I wasn't good with it either whenever I first started. And so, you know, picture them. Do they have friends? Do they have hobbies like the musical instruments? Are they, do they have, this is the one that I struggle with a lot. So on the left, typically on the left side, if you have the same page as me, you'll see like personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws. Flaws is always the hardest one because a lot of people are like, well, yeah, you know, my flaw, it has to be something like really, really dark. And, you know, it has to be good narratively. It's like, dude, just put that you're afraid of salt. Like, and you can just make up as you go. That's, oh, I'm getting off on so many different things. But yeah, like with flaws, they don't have to be big. And if you honestly, if you can't think of something like, yeah, I don't know what would be a flaw, that's okay. You don't have to have one. bonds is kind of a, I don't know, that's kind of like your, what connects you to the world, like, oh, family, preserving nature. Ideals would be, I typically treat that one as like, that's your goals. So, like Brock here, find inner strength, freedom, end the vampire curse. Oh, Brock. Oh, buddy. Gosh, I love that guy. Let's see. I gotta get caught up on things. Before I read this, I will then go into the digression that popped in. But also, with creating a character, you don't have to have everything filled out and known to you when you start. There were a couple times during Treachery, a Governor's Secret, when something would happen with Brock, and I was like, oh, I didn't know that about you, Brock. And yeah, you will kind of always grow your characters and build on them as you play. So yeah, don't think you have to have everything from the get-go. And if something, like maybe you have something and then as you're going through it's like, well, this isn't really working, then drop it. Yeah, retcon it. Okay, so the King's Vault is a rug that has trapped a djinn. Oh, that's always fun. If you break in and steal the rug, you could wish your way home, but leave your party with the consequences. Hey. Oh yeah, yeah. And it's not, we're not saying that your character's just so gung ho about getting home, but you know, of course their goal is like, yeah, I would like to get home because I have what is this place? Why are you all so weird? Like you don't even have shelves like on your back. What's wrong with you? He doesn't want to wish his way home. Oh, yeah, see, forgetful. That's a fun flaw. Mm-hmm. Well, if you if you think Brock sounds great, you need to listen through Governor's Secret. Because yeah, it really isn't a spoiler because you can kind of pick up on it pretty darn quick. I did that pretty much on purpose because yeah, this is another thing. Trying to keep something for the big reveal to the rest of the party, that sounds good on paper, and there are times where it does happen very naturally and well done. A lot of the time, no. If you think like, oh yeah, secretly Brock's gonna be this vampire and they won't know. They know. The players around your table most likely aren't stupid, and they will pick up on things pretty darn quick. So you kind of just have to weigh it to, see, is keeping it a secret really worthwhile? Mhm. Oh, yeah, see? So you learned something about your guy right there. He's loyal to who he likes. Let's see. Oh, initiative. I often don't fill this one in because it's just kind of redundant. But for newbies, it does help somewhat. So, initiative is what affects who goes when during combat, and that is based on your dexterity modifier. So if you have if you get a +4 from your dex, then when you roll for initiative, you will add 4 to that, and that will determine your place in combat. But, since I already know that comes from dexterity, filling it in seems redundant. Hit dice is based on your class. So Brock was a rogue, and he multi-classed into fighter. But based on your class, you would get what the rogue is probably the D8. Yeah, and so with each level of rogue, you would get at level 2, I have 2 D8s of hit dice, and you most likely will very rarely use them. It's kind of like a emergency heal kind of situation. Also with just something to think about with creating characters, if you're thinking about races, there are long rests and short rests. Different races encounter these differently. Pretty much everyone takes a short rest the same way. But with long rests, that is 8 hours of low minimal activity. Doesn't necessarily mean sleep, but sleep is typically a big part of long resting. And like elves can long rest in like 4 hours. So then they get 4 hours to, read a book, play cards with themselves or something. Most of the players I have run with would have trouble noticing if the real life room was on fire. No, there's definitely variance in that, of course. Let's see, character sheet. Okay, alignment, ignore it. I don't care about alignment in the slightest. I understand it's a way for new people to kind of keep track of how their character would act, but yeah, just don't worry about alignment. And really, I think I've only played one campaign where the DM was like, "Oh, would your character do that? What's their alignment?" And I'm like, "Oh, it's this." And he's like, yeah, that checks out. It's like, bro, was it that big of a deal? I'm sorry. Race, alignment, name. Oh, so under skills, there's passive wisdom, also commonly referred to as passive perception. So this is the number 10 plus your perception skill. And this is a really lame mechanic that, you walk into a room and passively you notice the secret safe behind the tapestry and that there's an invisible person standing in the corner. That's exaggeration, but effectively that is what passive perception does. You notice things around you very goodly. And I don't like it. I don't like it. It's one of those auto win features. I like to still grant characters a decent amount of, passive perception. Because, I mean, if you walk into a room and there's a guy on fire in the corner, I'm not going to be like, okay, well, now roll to see if you can see the guy on fire. No, I mean, you'd see him. Unless it was, some kind of magical fire. That's a whole nother thing. Okay, yeah. And you kind of went ahead a little bit on it, but I mean, good for you. But I mean, you're not new. But yeah, look to see what your druid gets, and don't. See, this is another flavor thing. So I made a barbarian that wears like medium armor, which to a lot of people might be like, oh, why would you do that? If you use your attributes, you can get your AC and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, yeah, but I don't want him to be a shirtless, barbarian. I don't want him to be the cliche. Like I made him a elven guy who wears medium armor and he rages because he just gets pissed off. And so when designing a character, don't think you have to throw them into the cliche. Barbarians don't have to be big and dumb. They don't have to be shirtless Conan the Barbarians. You could have a barbarian that's, the nerdy librarian person. Bards don't have to sex everything they encounter. And actually, yeah, all the bards that I've played with aren't that way, coincidentally. Um, my there's a character in one of my games, the player, he's a monk Harangon, so a little, rabbit guy. He's horny. Yeah, he's the bard. Let's see. Jonas, you might start telling players exactly what they notice passively instead of revealing the facts they draw. Start playing. Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, and I totally tell them what they notice passively. But I definitely like for them to roll for stuff because that's one of the major fun parts about D&D is rolling. Even though I suck at it, I love rolling for stuff. I'm going to have to really sit down, go over this tomorrow. don't don't stress over it at all. No, it's all fun times. Let's see. Oh well, yeah. It's all depending on the situation is what they get, and it could be like, yeah, you enter into this room and you know something feels off about it, but you just can't seem to place a finger on it. I like when they are played not cliche. Yes, exactly. Um, so it says that I can have a simple weapon. Take me to the weapons page, sir. Spear, staff, short bow, mace. What would I see you with there, good sir? Lava place. big turtle guy. Now I know the reason why they do limit to what you can start with is one, so that you can have the progression of, building up to that prime weapon that you would want. And then also for the proficiency thing, blah blah blah. But yeah, I'm thinking he's like he's a Warhammer kind of guy. And then armor, yep, no shield. And then yeah, he can't wear armor because he's a turtle. Ooh, yes, that's another thing with spellcasters. This is why we recommend you stay away from them if you're a new timer. But there's different ways to cast magic. A lot of classes will offer you a spellcasting focus, which what this does is you channel your magic through this thing, and you can play that out in different ways. It could be maybe you actually have to hold it, or I like to do that it just has to be on me in some way because I like the free open hand kind of stuff. And then the other way is components, which the focus kind of negates for the most part. And yeah, components would be, oh, well, I want to cast Fireball. I got to have bat poop and ashes on me. Oh, I'm all out of ashes. Man. You like spellcasters in games and steer clear when I play D&D. Yeah, even though like I love the idea of like casting magic and whatnot, I do typically stay away from being a spellcaster in video games because a lot of the time I just don't feel like the powerful spellcaster that I want to be. Regents are such a bother, but that's what makes them awesome. Uh, we did a one shot a while back, and I went with a blood wizard, and I was like, okay, with this, like, yeah, I'm gonna do like some typical blood magic kind of stuff, but it was like, but I don't want it to be the way I cast. I wanted to try out what would it be like if I had to use components. And one, Courtney was just pretty open with whatever I had on me. And I would say most DMs probably are. I know I'm not going to be like, well, Matthew, do you have, 2 golden sticks on you? No, that's goofy. But like I got into the spell casting of it, and it was lit. It was one of the funnest things I ever did. So there's what's it called? It's not scatter. It's what is that spell called? Oh, I was close. Shatter. That's what it is. So shatter, it's like a almost like you point to a spot and effectively like a sonic boom kind of thing will go off and hurt them. And so what I did was I looked at the components of the spell that mentioned like a mica chip. So I was like, okay, so Sadine pulls out this little chip, whatever that is. I'm thinking it's some kind of wood. I'm not that versed in stuff. But it was like, yeah, so she takes it, and, she puts it in her mouth, and then she takes a needle and something along the lines of like a sewing threading needle. So, it has a little bit of that thickness to it, and she sticks it into her throat, and then she and you don't hear anything. And then from where she cast it, it shatter. It was so much fun. So, if you are thinking of staying away from components, I would say don't. Try it out. Get creative with your spell casting. Equipment. I know for the one shot that we're doing this Saturday at GeekOut Cafe in Sellersburg, Indiana, if you're able to come, we're having one session from noon to 4, and then another different session from 5 to 9. So bring out your level 5 characters and come play with us. The noon game has, I think, 3 people signed up for it so far. And then the 5 o'clock, I think, has 2 at this point. Let's see. Looking forward to Saturday. Oh, so you're gonna be at the 5 o'clock one. Excellent. Let me mark you down. Yeah, you don't gotta sign up for it. I mean, basically you letting us know that is you signing up. So let's put you down there. Okay, cool. So yeah, so since you're gonna be playing the 5 o'clock one, that later one, uh, ooh, don't tempt me, Frodo. But yeah, since you're gonna be in that 5 o'clock game, I'm sure you remember her, Angelic Jazz, the lady to our right. She was at that corner, basically at the entrance of the Magical Midwinter Market. Yeah, she's gonna come play that 5 o'clock game, or so she says. Life can always happen. You never know. But yeah, that'll be awesome. So you'll get to see her again too. And then whenever I told Courtney and Patrick that Angelic Jazz was wanting to play, Patrick was like, "Put me down for that session. I want to play with Jasmine." And I was like, "Okay, buddy. Yeah, no problem." So yeah, you'll get to most likely play with Patrick, which is awesome. Which also makes me happy because, yeah, Patrick, man, that guy is a man. How he has the time to join us as much as he does is already baffling. But yeah, he deserves a good fun time. Oh, yes, so on the back of the sheet, if you have one similar to mine, you can put down, eye color, basically basic description stuff of what your character looks like. There's a box here for character appearance, and they've made it big enough that I'm sure the purpose was to you actually draw your character in there somewhat. I just write the description in there because I can't art. That's why I let Skynet do it for me. I'm sure when the Terminators come for us, they'll probably come for me first. But that's neither here nor there. And then, yeah, it has the character backstory section, which is great. So you can fill that in as much as you would like. And yeah, there's some other sections on here that kind of vary. Like this version I got, yeah, this top box is Dark Gifts. This must have been from some kind of, I don't know, Halloween version of the Adventurer League. That is at least a few weeks off. A few weeks off? What was I talking about? Oh, the Magical Midwinter Market? Oh, yes, Skynet taking over. Whew. Thank you. Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. I'm sure we can defeat it. They're stupid clankers anyways. And yeah, that's kind of a big brief overview of the character sheet. Oh, inspiration, if you're not familiar with this, up at the top, your page might have something that says like inspiration. That is something the DM, the dungeon master, game master, will give you based on any number of things. It could be, maybe you encounter a problem and you think of a very witty, creative way to overcome it, then, boom, you get an inspiration. Maybe you find a treasure chest and, the DM has you roll for something and it's like, oh, well, hey, you found inspiration. And what inspiration does is typically you can use it to re-roll a die to give you a better advantage of succeeding. Some DMs I've played with, they've been like, oh yeah, if you use your inspiration, I'll let you come back up from being in your death save state. Oh, which actually leads me to death saves. If you don't know what that is, you will eventually find out. Hopefully. Death saves is if your character goes down to 0 hit points or lower, your character will fall unconscious and then you roll a d20. And if it's 10 or higher, yeah, you succeed. It's been a long while since I've had to roll a death saves, but yeah, you have to get 3 successes, and then your character will. It varies, of course, from DM and games and whatnot, but typically you stay alive. You go back to like 1 hit point. Sometimes you regain consciousness, sometimes you don't. And then, of course, if you get 3 failures, then that means your character dead. D-E-D. Dead. Which I have been in 1 TPK, which is total party kill. And it was the most exciting thing I've been a part of. Definitely up there in the top 10. It was so much fun dying. We went down like men. We died to a tree. A tree that was full of, I think it was fairies. So, like, while the tree was whipping us and, like, grappling us and doing damage automatically. Then the fairies were shooting out from within it, uh, like giving us poison damage and stuff, and it was awesome. Let's see. Ooh, we have a name, Crex. Yeah, that is a good another good character creating thing is have a good name. Like think it over. Sometimes what I like to do is I'll use Google Translate, and let's say I want to do like a fire themed sorcerer person. I will type in the word fire, flame, burnt, anything related to that, try it out in different languages and see if I find something and then be like, hey, that's their name now. See, there was a rule in 5e that if your HP would be reduced to a negative value. Oh, yes, yeah, you can die outright. I would say it's rare. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't care about 5.5. It just kind of 5e and just uh, Wizard of the Coast's D&D in general. I'm kind of getting a little distant from it, I guess is a good word, because it's not that it's bad. I mean, I think the changes to it that they've done recently are bad, but I mean, what they have is a really good streamlined way to get people in to play. It's complicated, but it's not so complicated. Let's see, if your health total was 35. If you took the amount of damage that should put you at negative. Oh, yeah, you wouldn't make death saves at all. There are times that you can die just outright. Sometimes it's by damage like that. Some monsters, even, and it's really weird at what difficulty level that they're at, too. Like, I want to say it's like a level 3 monster that it has some kind of death stare, and then if it works, I mean, you die. That's it. There's also the deck of many things, which is the bane of many a campaign. That, like its namesake, you draw cards, and they have typically a lot of pros and good things that can come from it. You can gain a bunch of money, gain levels, but then there's one card that you draw it and you die just straight up. And I think it even specifies something to the effect of that your party, like if they have a resurrection style spell, that it won't work. I might be wrong on that. It's that they are yeah. But yeah, that is a good overview. What time is it? It's almost 10. How long is the stream? Hour 40. I do typically like to go for 2 hours. I can probably crank out another character in the next 20 minutes. So, for funsies, now that we kind of did a big review over creating characters, as I'm making this next one, I might think of other things that might be just good character creation knowledge. But yeah, let's get dangerous. First, let me check on my tunes. Surprisingly, YouTube hasn't done that thing where it's like, hey, buddy, you still listening to me? Wow, that's a thing. Yeah. Um, with creating a character and role playing them in general, you don't have to do a voice, okay? It's not required. Uh, is it more fun? Yes. I will tell you yes. I love adding a voice to my characters. Uh, yeah, and it could be for any reason. You know, the Goliaths are, they're the big men, real strong. So you could go with that kind of deeper voice, have them talk, normally. Um, I also like to use real life things, as I mean, everyone should and does. So I often use Russian for my Goliaths. Oh, yes, I would like to cast a fireball. Watch as the little goblins die. They scream and run around like little children. And I know that's kind of one of the reasons why we started this is, a lot of people were starting to get into D&D because of Critical Role. And I mean, and Stranger Things. There's been a big resurgence of D&D, and I'm all for it. And but when you watch Critical Role, I mean, they are professional voice actors. So they just put on these accents and voices just so naturally. And that can be intimidating to some people. Like, oh, well, how I can't play D&D. I can't talk like Matt Mercer. And, well, neither can I, which means you can too. Mm. But so yeah, when you're designing your character, think, you don't have to have a voice, but if you're feeling like it, go with one. Courtney's Amer accent will stick with me for the rest of my life. It's so reassuring to hear every now and then. Okay, so we did a druid for the first one. What, let's see, on this new page, what don't I have a character in yet? Let's go with a martial class. My eye went to rogue. Let's do a rogue. Okay. Oh yeah, see, there's new subclasses here. Also feels like some are missing that were there, but we'll ignore that for now. Let's what do I want to do with my, like, as a rogue? Oh, is Scout the one that I'm thinking of? No. That's right. Yeah, Thief. Yeah, Thief is great because it lets you use magical things even without basically the skill to do so. Yeah, we're gonna go with Thief. Okay. So I know what I'm able to do. Oh yeah. What does my rogue look like? Whoa, what's that? A new race? Whoa. kind of looks like a goblin tiefling. The Darakul. Let's see. I don't know if you all out there have a favorite race. I don't know if I really have one in particular either. But I will say the Leonin, the Lion Men, they are so darn cool. The stock image of them is just so baller. And I mean, just the idea of them. Like, picturing one as a paladin is so badass. Like, I can picture one as like a ranger, but it just doesn't have the same feel. And that's the thing is with some races I can picture them like really easy being something, and then others not so much. An umbral human? What in tarnation? Oh my gosh. More races. Okay, or not tiefling, rogue. I'm looking at tiefling. No, I don't know. A rogue. Rogue that has the ability to use magical items. Yes. So, if you've listened to me before, you may or may not know that I have a bias. I have such a soft spot for anthropomorphic uh, beast men, bestial races. As a child, I read the Red Wall series and loved it. So the bestial races like the Leonin, I just have such a soft spot for. And also, I mean, it doesn't feel like it's used all that often, which is kind of weird because it's pretty cool. But we are going to go with a dun 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 Loxodon. That's the elephant person. Ooh, a female Loxodon. And this is the rogue thief. Excellent. So we got our race. Anything about Loxodonians I should know that might affect creation? Oh, they live about 450 years. Okay. They reach basically adulthood around 60. Okay, we're gonna say that she is 413. She is a elderly Loxodon. Oh, here we go. Keen smell. You have advantage on perception. Okay, so it doesn't affect a skill necessarily. Speak Common and Loxodon. Okay. So I don't really learn. Well, I guess I learned Loxodon, but besides Common, but no extra language there. That's a-okay. Common and Loxodon. I'm gonna put Loxodonian. And yeah, size and all that we can get into later. Okay, got the good stuff. But that whole thing about keen smell, I'm gonna keep that in mind. So I know what I do. What age do they live to typically? Oh, Luxodon, it says that they live about 450 years. So they got some length in there. Kind of like the dwarves. I think dwarves go up to like 400 or 500. And they are Luxodon are considered young until they reach the age 60. So we know what we do. We know what we are. Now for the background. Could go with that one, but I used archaeologist earlier. I'm kind of thinking something a little bit different, though. Let's see, skills. Oh yeah, the great thing about 5e tools is like how you can organize things. So like you can click up here on skill proficiencies and then that puts them, yeah, these ones do this together and blah blah blah. Yeah, turtles don't live very long. I think, if I remember right, the shortest lifespan is the Aarakocra. They live to like 30. They mature at like age 3, so it kind of balances out. Okay, so I want my Luxodon, yes, to be good at Arcana and History. Here we go. So we could do a Cobalt Scholar, Mage of High Society, Sage. Planar Philosopher, Arcana, and then you get to choose a second thing. Let's scroll down to History. Maybe there's a combo down there that I kind of like. Ooh, History and Religion. I kind of like that one a little bit better. Can we do links here? Ooh. A good question, sir. Sure, try it out. Let's see what happens. Oh, not that one. Okay, let's go back up to those Arcana combos. let's just go with, yeah, Mage of High. Oh, I think I read that as High Society order earlier. And it actually says Mage of High Sorcery. It's from the Dragonlance campaign, so that might get a little iffy on if a DM would actually let me use it, but also, who cares? Oh yeah, definitely ignoring this part. So as part of it, you gain the feat Initiate of High Sorcery, which gives you access to a couple spells. Yeah, don't care about that. I want the flavor. Oh, that was your gateway. Nice. To fantasy or to like D&D. You see what I'm saying? Cuz like my introduction to D&D was my older brother Al made this homebrew campaign, and I mean it was all homebrew. Our stats and everything. Oh, it was awesome. Okay, so yeah, with this one, I'm gonna get the Arcana and History that I want. Oh, that's perfect. I get 2 extra languages. Yeah, ink pen, common clothes, perfect. So, yeah, you're probably wondering, Jonas, well, you're playing a rogue, and you're picking a Luxodon. Aren't they gonna be too big? And you would be right, old timer and slight prospector. So yeah, my Luxodon. Yes, she is elderly, and she is a librarian. And well, yeah, maybe librarians. That's not the right word. Um, so they're not so much archaeologists, but the the people that work in like museums that basically once when the items are brought in, they maintain, they clean up, um, they analyze and deduce like, oh well, see, this is from the blah 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 blah. I guess that's, we could just say historian. Historian caretaker. That's what I'm gonna put. I know that job has a name. I'm pretty sure, but can't really think of what it is. I could Google it, but yeah, I can do that later. Okay, so yes, she is this this artifact caretaker, and that is why she kind of has the thiefy ability to use these magical items because she has, studied them and cared for them. Yes, a preserver of the past. So I got class, background, got my race. Let's head over to, well, since I don't actually have a character sheet to put it on, I won't worry so much about the stats right now. So I'll close out chicken dinner. Yeah, we have that one. Now, let's go back to our class real quick. What does our thief start out with? Let's see, light armor. Simple weapons. Oh yeah, like a rapier, short sword. Because yes, now we get into why is she adventuring? A peculiar relic came across her desk one day. With the most unusual design. Design and runes. She, she couldn't diagnose what or where this thing came from. And so she passed it up the food chain, if you will, the chain of command. And hey, boss, yeah, can we get somebody in here that might know more about whatever this thing is? Maybe she just gets the slightest inkling of like, oh yeah, can we? I know this is a big ask, but could we try to send word to the Drow archives to see if they can let us know what this thing is? And, boss is like, well, that's too much paperwork. We got plenty on our hands as it is. I just put it under the unknowns and be done with it. But being the caretaker and curator, curiosity pursuer that she is, she can't let it rest. Maybe a couple weeks go by and she just keeps thinking about that relic. What is it? Where did it come from? And so then she does it. Something she hasn't done uh, since her college days, when she was sent out as an archaeologist, an excavator, to help uncover ruins. Basically, a scribe, while others did the heavy work. She was the task doer, the grunt, and so she feels that call of adventure, and so she sets out. But she's 412 years old. She ain't what she used to be. She's gonna need some help. So she seeks out other adventurers. Maybe there's an adventuring guild. Maybe there's just a tavern, good old tavern, where she might be able to find some either good-natured people that are curious about the same thing. Maybe she has the funds to, finance it for a while. Heck, she even could send word throughout the other museums and be like, hey, I want help to find this thing out. If there's anybody else, in our profession that, just has that drive like me, meet me at this location on this date, and we will begin to seek out whatever this thing is. Mm-hmm. And so that does give her her big overarching goal, her reasoning to venture out. And, of course, depending on what the plot line of that this character would know of whatever campaign she would be playing in. I'm sure I could find ways to work in other things and find the reasons of why she would continue to aid the party once when her thing was done. But then again, with how elderly she is, this might be a character that says, "Hey, thank you for the assist. Here's everything I can give you so you all can continue your journey, but I'm just too old for this." And then, she could retire and then I could bring in another character. She could die along the way. That is a strong possibility. Heart attack, stroke, uh, wall smushing trap. So yeah, you got my background, backstory. That's that's one thing I think people get confused with too, or maybe misinterpret. But like background, I would say a lot of the time people pick that based on who their character is at this time. So, it's like, oh, well, I'm a fighter class. I am a soldier in the army, and so I'm gonna go with the soldier background because that's who I am. But it's like, yeah, but that's good. That's fine. Um, but background makes me think this is who I was before who I am now. This also helps you add more depth to your character. So, I mean, maybe you do want that, they come from a line of soldiers, and so you were a soldier, you are a soldier, that is who you will be. But there's it's one of my favorite backgrounds. I think it's Fisher. Yeah, you're just a fisherman. Or you can tweak it to be like, I was a farmer. I was a rancher. And then that's who I was. And then I got conscripted. And so then I had to be a soldier. And that's who I am now. But that's not who I was. Yeah, all right. And yeah, I'm not going to go through all the equipment and other things. And because, yeah, I went past the 2 hour mark, which is fine. I just like to get at least 2. And like I said earlier, you don't have to have everything fleshed out. And so, yeah, this is a great starting point. I can think more on, she's been alive for 413 years. What hobbies does she have? Is she racist? Probably. Racism is one of my favorite flaws. I have a turtle character that he is a fan favorite. He is the show stealer. Um, Haiku Sunshell. Every time I've busted him out, just everybody falls in love with him. And he is extremely racist and and uh and a deist. I don't think that's the right word, but yeah, if you don't follow his god, then well, what's wrong with you? You loser, you heretic. Why don't you go jump off a cliff? Oh yeah, no problemo, man. Yeah. Courtney and I, we love characters. We love seeing the nuances of them, just the whole package. And it can range from anything from movies, books, video games. I mean, characters are the reason why she likes Star Wars, because she loves certain characters in Star Wars so much that she enjoys Star Wars. And yeah, just making characters is so much fun, thinking of different scenarios, trying out different things. And yeah, some of them will be bangers, some of them won't. And that's okay. Just keep cranking out characters. It's just fun to do. It keeps your mind occupied when you're at work. Depending on what work you do. If you're a surgeon, you should probably be in the moment. I would highly recommend that one. Uh, and yeah, everything doesn't it not everything has to be this big grand backstory, you know, big grand goal. Some of my That's one of the things I loved about Brock was I mean, he had goals, but I think what's the term? Oh yeah, he's a very vanilla character. He Even though starting off your life as a slave and then getting infected with vampirism and all that, I mean that's a pretty big uh, backstory ish. But I mean, how I played him was just it was very almost mundane in a way. Um, like, uh, man, how do I word this? If you leave your canvas blank with your character, even though you have the silhouette of them, that leaves you room to grow them in so many ways. Where if you come in and you fill in the blanks, oh, he is a soldier. He does act this way. It's not that you can't change, but you have almost like you've already set your path in stone. You know, D&D daydream while doing a colonoscopy. uh, yep, I got 4 more years till I have to get one of those. I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure the new recommended start is 40. So I'm almost there. That's gonna be fun. Will we be? Ooh, yep. Oh, yep. But with that, no. It really, from what I've heard from everybody, yeah, you're asleep the whole time. It's the prep for it that's the hardest part because you gotta drink that stuff and then you basically live in the bathroom. Also, not eating red meat would be kind of a toughie. I think it's just red meat. But that's neither here nor there. But thank you all for tuning in. If you are watching this post mortem, I hope you enjoyed it and that you learned, got some good ideas. Be sure to give it a like, subscribe, do the social media thing that you know how to do. We are the Wayward Inquisition. We have plenty of VODs for you on YouTube. We have our major campaign, Treachery, a Governor's Secret. We also have some fun side stories, if you will, like Star Wars. We have Wicked West, a fantasy western. If sci-fi is more your thing, we also have Arc Outer Rifts, a Halo-inspired TTRPG. And boy, did Patrick capture the essence of Halo in it. It was so freaking fun. It was good. So we got that. We have a couple like one shots on there. We have a kind of a side story, Chronicles of Elysius, which is another duet between Courtney and I. Also, if you've never done a duet where it's just one-on-one, the DM and a player, they can be super fun. Of course, it depends on the dynamic. Like, Courtney and Patrick, they've stated this themselves, that if they tried to do a duet, they just know that it wouldn't work. But Courtney and I really hit it off. I did a duet with Patrick where we did, I made a John Wick universe story, and that one was really fun. I kind of want to do more with him, but our schedules, life, you know. Which is why we want to do this full time, and we need you to do that. So share. We have a PayPal. We do have a Patreon, and I don't want to knock it, but we really haven't put much on it. We don't keep up with it very well. That is on us. But there is still some good stuff on there, not gonna lie. Courtney's whole subclass she made for Monk is on there, and it's pretty sick. It's pretty awesome. Patreon. Oh yeah, we got Redbubble, which you can find all our merchandise at. The prices are really good. It ships crazy fast for being custom-made items, and you can literally get it on just about everything. Shower curtains, bed covers, backpacks, coasters, and, of course, they take some of the proceeds because, I mean, they do everything, but we get a pretty nice chunk of it. If you live in the Kentuckiana area, April 11th in Louisville, there is the Louisville Con. Be sure to come in, check us out. We're going to be there. We'll have a table. Come ask us questions. Come get autographs. That has happened once. It was wild. We didn't know what to do. And then... once again, this Saturday, March 14th, in Sellersburg, Indiana, at the GeekOut Cafe, we're hosting 2 separate one-shots. The first one from noon to 4, the second from 5 to 9. Join our Discord, please. And, but yeah, that'll help you stay up to date on if there's still room left. We're looking for 5 players max per session. And yeah, you'll just have an awesome time. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Stay awesome. And remember that freedom always crits. And go to church. Bye.